Podtacular MLG Update and King of the Hill Show, episode 93 for the week of December 18th, 2006.
All right, gentlemen, let's get freaky!
What's up, everybody? It's Jive here, and welcome back to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Jive.
I am Cock-a-Doodle Noob, a.k.a. JVB.
I never know how to follow up to your revelation from the LOA. You kill me every time. I love you, man.
Man, you just pwned him on that, man. He's like in the street now.
Yeah, I will get into that new gamer tag in no time.
No time flat.
Yeah, no time flat.
And
man.
we have someone else. Hello? Someone else?
Hello? He just said his name.
Well, I actually threw it in. I threw it in there behind that. It's revelation from the LOA.
Right on.
It's so hard to follow up JVB. It's like, you can't do it.
How can you follow the Cock-a-Doodle Noob, man? What are you going to
just
do?
Remain quiet. I mean, how do you think? Yeah, my stupid name is just Revelation.
Yeah, you
I
see,
have a revelation of the Cock-a-Doodle Noob.
I'm gonna say it now. When I
I'm joining that clan. Let me tell you.
One day I was standing atop an elevator, going 30 stories high, and something just appeared in my head.
And you're an elevator repairman, right?
Well, yeah, I'm an elevator repairman. Blah blah blah. But a vision of a rooster popped in my head as I was on top of this elevator, and it spoke to me and it said, "Look, JVB, you should have another gamer tag, and I will be by your side as long as you say this name whenever you're in need." So he said, "Cock-a-Doodle Noob." So
did you say Cock-a-Doodle Noob, or was he like Cock-a-Doodle Noob?
Yeah, it was Cock-a-Doodle Noob. He sounded like a Floridian, so I mean.
I'm trying so hard to hold it. I'm sorry.
So
that one, dude.
So whenever I say that name, I get a burst of inspiration and creativity that I've never had before, and I thank Cock-a-Doodle Noob for allowing me to have the glow, like Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon.
Dude, you have like plus 10 magicka now.
Magic egg poop. I don't know what egg poop and magic has to do with it.
I don't either, man. How does an egg poop? I don't know. That's a good question.
No, it's an egg full of poop.
Oh, I see how it works. Okay.
You never seen one of those? Damn.
Thanks for clearing that up for me. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
all right.
you need Cock-a-Doodle Noob power.
I do, man. I must gain the power, definitely, to use in Oblivion or in real life. So, we have... let's shoot some magic at people. Some bird poop, egg poop, whatever. So, LOA... Dude, where the hell did we get off talking about that? LOA Revalation
I know, right?
is from Legion of the Apocalypse, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about that for the people? I mean, I think we had someone from Legion of the Apocalypse on before.
We had him here. We had him on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually my second time on the show. I'm glad that I made such an impact.
I'm sorry, yeah, because there was an LOA before, as the LOA thing, sorry.
I'm definitely going to change my name to something along the likes of
No.
Cock-a-Doodle Noob.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you had something like that,
Remember me next time.
I would definitely not be able to forget
call
that
yourself Tater Tot Time Tim or something like that.
Where the hell do you come up with this stuff, man?
I'm thinking JVB needs to start up its own service where I will make you an exclusive and highly marketable gamer tag.
Yeah. Very unique gamer tag.
Because I've already trademarked that bad boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
TalkingToTheNoob.com, man. I'm telling you.
As a
You
matter
should
of
buy that.
fact,
You could sell it for
register.com.
big bucks.
Yeah, imagine the type of cartoons that can be, the episodes that can be created. The Cock-a-doodle Noob fighting the villains.
There you go,
You better
man.
get out there and trademark that. Someone's going to steal that idea.
Yeah, I'm sure,
Speaking of which, register.com.
Nah.
Nice. See, now JVB doesn't even realize he comes on to to host Podtacular and oh crap, now it just cost him like $10 to host Podtacular this episode because now he has to register that domain. Dang, man, not only do you not make money, you have to spend money every episode you mention something like that. So Legion of the Apocalypse. Now this is a Halo related clan, right? And website and stuff like that.
We formed around. Originally we formed around the game Halo. We're a competitive gaming group. Right now we are active in the games Halo 2, Gears of War, and Rainbow Six Vegas.
Very cool.
Nice.
We're like the people that most people don't like playing with because we take it a little too seriously. But I mean our main purpose and our goals are for the competitive gaming events such as Major League Gaming, MLG, and stuff like that. So,
right.
Cool, man. Cool.
But
There's
we're
also
all mean.
there's also an event coming up, right? That you guys have been.
We're having a charity event. We've been trying. We actually got our promotional campaign for it going kind of late, so it's right at crunch time right now. But we are having a charity event over this weekend for Halo 2, Gears of War, and Rainbow Six Vegas. 3 separate dates: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All the proceeds from these events will go to help the Child's Play organization. They're a group that is affiliated with the Penny Arcade. I think they've been around for a couple of years now. I know last year they helped to raise over $500,000 or $1 million for sick kids that are going to be in hospitals over the holiday season. Kids, fighting cancer and stuff like that. And when we found out about the organization, we just thought that's an amazing idea that they had going, and just an amazing thing to try to get involved with. I mean, it's gamers helping gamers, or gamers bringing the gift of gaming to sick kids in hospitals over the holiday season. The whole reason the organization actually got started up was because gamers were getting such a bad rap for the types of games that they play. They're saying these games breed hate and violence into kids, and they're going out and shooting people for real. And I mean, I think we all know that that's BS. But this way, it shows that gamers directly can bring a very positive meaning to some kids' lives that they're in the hospital, they're in hospital beds, and I mean, although I'm sure their families and everything are going to be there, I mean, what better way than to bring a video game or a gaming console to them, put a smile on their face, and maybe take their mind off what they're going through, even if it's just for 2 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once we read about the organization, I immediately contacted them, wanted to see how we can get involved. I spoke with the director over there at Child's Play, and came up with the idea of holding these online charity events that anyone and everyone can get involved in, and 100% of all the money that we get will be going directly to them to help them purchase video games and gaming systems for all these children's hospitals throughout the United States. I think throughout the world too. I think there's actually some children's hospitals outside of the United States that they're actually helping out. But you can get all that information at childsplaycharity.org.
Wow.
Organization.
Sweet.
Great organization.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Now, when is this event?
Well, oddly enough, because I think this will actually air after it, but the Halo event actually starts tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It will go throughout the whole night until that event is over. It's a 4v4 single elimination tournament right now.
Definitely.
Well, hey, man, I hope
but-
you hold more of these tournaments in the future, and people get a chance to get involved.
We actually do plan to. We're going to help out Child's Play at least twice a year.
Excellent.
And the organizations that's helping us run this tournament, Extreme Gaming Arena, they are going to be holding tournaments all the time. But more or less, it's just for their standard tournaments are situations where the top 3 teams actually win cash prizes and stuff like that. So, but the charity event I know is going to be going on at least twice a year. So at least the next time around we'll have a lot more time to promote it and hopefully get more people involved.
Nice. It's always good to see members of the community doing something great. So
I think it just proves it's kind of something that's put out there in the face of the press that wants to slam gamers and the people that want to talk about us in a negative way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's proof positive. It's not us running our mouths back. It's like, well, look here, this is what we did.
Yeah.
What did you do?
exactly.
You know,
Yep.
So
What do you do?
it's a positive thing, and I mean beyond all that, I mean just the thought of something that we help put in there, whether it's a console or a video game or even one of the Halo 2 graphic novels, anything that could put a smile on these kids' faces. Because I'll tell you what, I think a lot of people really take it for granted when they're sitting at home this holiday season, opening up their gifts, opening up their new PlayStations, their new Wiis, their new 360s and stuff.
Mhm.
And you don't think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I never really did until I hit this site and saw how positively it was impacting these kids' lives. Because they write back to this website. They write back and they say, hey, I was a patient at this hospital, and this stuff came in, and it just brightened up my day. And it's like, I know if I was in their place, that would make me feel like $1 million. So,
Exactly. We all tend to forget that that's a human being in the hospital also, and
yeah.
same things that entertain us entertain them too. So
So
no
we're
reason
just
why we
trying to
can't help out.
trying to do our little part to at
Absolutely.
least spread the word out there and get as many different communities involved as we can, and try to make as big of an impact as we can. And so far so good. But the more the better. The bigger
Exactly.
the impact, the better.
Surely.
Yeah, there'll be room for more, definitely.
All right, so we'll look forward to that in the future.
Cool.
And now that we're quite a ways through the show, let you know what we're going to cover this show. We're going to talk about the MLG update, and we have that from Dialpex and some friends over at the Podtacular community. So let's get to that real quick, and let's let them talk about what's going on in the MLG, within like the MLG news, what's going on with MLG players and teams, and things like that. So let's get to that. Here we go.
Cock-a-doodle-doop.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the newest Podtacular MLG segment, the Gain Delete segment. And it's going to be brought you by your hosts, Dialpex, and our 2 other hosts, Craig and Jonnysan. Why don't you guys just introduce yourself real quick?
Yo, what's up? I'm Jonnysan, and the other person with us is...
Romaine Lettuce from Team Overrated.
And,
Yo, what's up? It's Robin.
So this is going to be a new segment that we're going to have in Podtacular. It's called the Podtacular MLG Gain Delete segment. And we're going to talk about a lot of things regarding the MLG world as far as news, events, the latest information on this ongoing population, which is the MLG crew within the last year or so. They have, really expanded a lot. So we're going to be talking about a few things that may be interesting to everyone as far as games, all sort of different things. And with Roma and Johnny on the show, we're going to be able to get some real nice discussions here. And hopefully we can bring something to the table that you haven't, known yet. So
Exactly, Dial.
exactly.
I would like to substitute a name change. I'm now Overrated Jonnysan.
OV Jonnysan.
That's right.
OV Johnny. Yeah. So for this first week,
A.K.A. Brian Peppers.
so for this first time, we're gonna be, it was kind of an introductory segment or introductory show where you guys just gonna know about, what's gonna happen and things like that. But we also gonna, bring a couple of subjects in, which are the, biggest 2 things that happened within the last few weeks in the MLG scene. One of them being Exit Wounds dropping Killer N for another empty spot on the team, and Final Boss picking up Strong Side and dropping out Seance. So why don't we go ahead and start talking about the Exit Wounds stuff, Johnny? What do you want to fill us in with some of the stuff that's been going on?
I tell you what, I want to start out with a shout out to my favorite player ever, Ray the Cookie Baker. And now, Exit drops Killer in, who is in the Halo world the superstar. He was an excellent Halo CE player, and now Exit Wounds has dropped him. A lot of people are a little unsure of this decision. But I think what Exit is going to do is they're going to pick up another really strong Slayer because Killer In, if you've been watching VOD, hasn't been slaying too strongly. So I think when Exit picks up another strong Slayer, probably a high free-for-all player, I think you're going to see them improve their game a lot.
Yeah, I guess, like, after Zayas left the team and then, the whole team kind of, like, shook a bit, and then they, with the new Samurai came in and everything else. So I hope that now they can really, pick up like a real good player and just like, show the other teams, Straight Rippin' and Carbon and Final Boss, that they're here to stay and really like fight for that, top, place in the championship. So
Yeah, but you can't get it twisted either. I mean, a lot of people think that Luck and Bonfire are really just strictly objective players. They're pretty much two of the top all-around players, and if you've watched any of the VOD, you know that Bonfire is an absolute beast when it comes to pretty much anything, including slaying. He's one of the top slayers too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Zyles brought much to the team when he came in. You notice that when he came in, they finished on average with what they were doing, and then they finished much worse than what they were accustomed to. I think Zyos he wasn't exactly the right fit for their team, so hopefully with this new pickup, they tried Killer In, and that worked for them in Chicago. But Killer In seems to have been slipping off his game for a while, so hopefully with their new pickup, they'll be back up on top where they should be able to contest Straight Rippin' for that third-place spot.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, they just need, like a real strong slaying guy that can really hold off, you know what I mean, and show the other guys that kind of like what Karma does for Carbon. So if they could get somebody, in that caliber, that would be great for the team.
And there's usually always quite a few people in the top of the FFA. You'll notice that a lot of people will pop up in that FFA, like the top 8 in the pro, that you never even really heard of before. So there's a lot of strong slayers out there that can get the job done individually. It's just a matter of finding one of those guys that's actually going to fit in with the team.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to float this idea. Now, after Exit picks up a fourth player, if they don't improve considerably, you might watch for them dropping Samurai for another strong Slayer, and you might see Luck take on a more objective role with two strong Slayers plus Bonfire playing a mix of objective and Slayer if they don't improve after their first pickup. That might be something to look for in the future during the next 2007 season.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because I hope they can do that and really, tackle that that possibility, like right off. I mean, I know it takes time after you pick up a new teammate because you got to practice and get the chemistry going, but I hope they can tackle that off like real soon so that they don't get to the to the middle to the end of the season and notice, hey, we're not really doing too good, and then pick up another guy just for the end. So I'd much rather see them, picking up somebody really strong right in the beginning, and then figure it out what's going on, and then if they need to pick up somebody else, just bring that person in and just go ahead and have like a good solid season, versus like changing players twice. One before the season starts and then one during.
Yeah, you're completely right, Dal. But you got to remember also too that the top like 4 slots have been really stratified. You have FB and Carbon competing nonstop for that 1-2 spot, and then right below that you have Straight Rippin' that's a step above the competition, and basically the 4th spot has been locked down by Exit Wounds.
Right.
There hasn't been that many people that have been competing for that spot, so they pretty much are going to be able to get one of the top picks of whoever pretty much that they want.
Right,
is going to be looking. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that don't have teams right now that are definitely, Exit Wounds is definitely on the top of their list as a team that they would want to get on.
Yep.
That segues great into our segment on Final Boss in terms of team chemistry and picking up people, because what a lot of people don't know about Strong Side, who Final Boss picked up, is that Strong Side lives very close to the Ogre Twins, and he
Yep.
plays with them a fair amount. He goes over and lands with them all the time. So you might see a quick pickup by Final Boss. A lot of people might think, they need Wild to play with Strong Side and get the team chemistry going, but he's been playing with them pretty consistently for some time now.
Yeah. You actually, if you've been watching the USA Network MLG airing that they've been having, you actually saw an interview with Defy talking about how the relationship from Strong Side and the Ogres. He actually has a real close relationship with them, so he talks to them and hangs out with them on a regular basis, which kind of not like stress Defy, but like showed him that he was a much better fit for the other guys than actually his team. So it was kind of like Legends didn't lose really a guy by giving out Strong Side, but they kind of like helped out Final Boss by giving another good player. So
Yeah, Legends has always been that team that's in transition. I mean, they got guys like Mac and Vash that have been all over on so many. They've been in so many different combinations of teams, and they're amazing players. But I think it was Mac that was saying on MLG Pro. He was saying that they pretty much knew. He used to joke around quite a bit because,
right.
like John was saying, Strong Side was constantly at the Ogre's house up in Ohio, saying that pretty much he was FB from the beginning. He never really was Legends. So
yeah, it's gonna be a nice addition, just because Strong Side used to be from Carbon, and then they dropped him to get Ghost Tiami, and now a guy that they dropped from their team is gonna be going up against them. So it's gonna be a nice touch to the tournament. So
yeah, like
It's
is
gonna be real
this
high
redemption?
drama. Real high drama,
Is this
'cause-
redemption?
Yeah.
Definitely, because
Yeah.
when Strong Side was dropped, Carbon won the next 3 tournaments. They
Yep.
beat Final Boss, but now Final Boss has gone back and picked up the player that Carbon dropped.
right.
So now
And-
it'd be really interesting if Final Boss starts beating Carbon. That really starts the wheels turning on. Well, was Strong Side a poor player? Well, no, I think it's just team chemistry.
Exactly.
Strong Side might have not fit with Carbon very well, but if he fits well with Final Boss, I think that will be great for Strong Side, because he'd get to feel redeemed in terms of he got dropped and then his former team started winning. But if he
Yep.
gets on to Final Boss and they start taking over tournaments, then that'll be great for Strong Side.
Oh,
And
yeah,
John,
yeah.
do you know where what state Ghost Ayami is from?
No, actually, I'm not aware of what.
New Jersey. Thank you. New
Oh,
Jersey.
is he really?
Yes, New Jersey.
That
thank
makes
you.
sense, because he does look a little off when you see him. He's a little bit. I don't want to say,
And
it, but a
no,
little bit
and
of a
no,
fat
and
guy.
not everyone from New Jersey is fat and balding.
Are you sure? I have seen some pictures of you, Joe, and
you
definitely
love
headed
me,
that
baby.
direction.
Love me.
That's awesome. Yeah, they Carbon, by picking up him, was just like a major upset on the league last year. I mean this year. It was just like it was instantly right after they dropped Strong Side and they picked up him. It was kind of like it was magic. You know what I mean? They start winning like right away. You would have thought that it would have probably taken them a couple of tournaments to really get it, the feel going, but it was just like amazing how they were able to pull it off just like that.
Well, yeah, Dal, I want to go back to your comment about not dropping people in the middle of the season. I really think that dropping someone in between the MLG tournaments is not necessarily going to be a detriment to your team if the player you had previously wasn't fitting with your team. If you see Exit going with their new lineup without Killer in, with another Slayer in his place, and Samurai isn't carrying because he hasn't been playing very well, if you see them drop Samurai and pick up another strong Slayer,
Yep.
watch out for exit wounds. Watch out, because Luck is a great Slayer, but if Luck becomes the objective player, he's also a good person who can slay, and that
Right.
frees up Bonfire more as well.
Yep. Well,
Who we all know is a beast.
oh yeah, he is. Well, he didn't win the the prize just because he's definitely a guy that has, people are looking, at, and they know his, the potential Bonfire has, and all the the quality that he's brought to the team as a whole. You know what I mean? So
No.
he's definitely on the top of my list of pro players.
Oh yeah, and we all know he owns T2 with the carbine, right, John?
Open ramp down the short ramp.
Open ramp down the short.
All right.
Sorry, T2.
T2 with a carbine.
Yep.
And I want to say, too, Bonfire won the car, and Ghost Diami was in that competition. Now, MLG is known to favor the top 3 teams. You
Yep.
see Exit Wounds doesn't get a lot of attention because they're the 4th place team. Now, Bonfire won the car against Ghost Diami, and that's huge
Yeah,
because
it is.
MLG wanted to give the car to Ghost Diami because Ghost Diami's on the 1st place team. He brought them up to the winning level, but Bonfire played so extraordinary that he still won the car hands down.
Yep.
In the 4v4, his team won 7 out of 8 games.
Yep.
Yeah, John. What was the first game he had, it was the CTF Warlock. He had 53 kills and 35 assists with the game-winning cap.
Yeah, out of the 8
Small
games,
game.
out of the 8 games, he finished something like plus 50 kills, and he had several game-winning flag caps. So he's a dominant player.
Yeah, he is. Like I said, he held the team together really, really good. After like when Zios left and everything else, he was surely the leader on the team and really held those guys together. I mean, Luck is an amazing player. And along with Samurai is really good, and then when it coming of Killer, and the team was really, really strong, and they picked up 4th place and everything. But you gotta give mad props to Bond because he was just he did an amazing job picking up
Yes.
the slack on everything on every aspect of the team.
Yeah, I just want to make the note that the release of Zios was a team decision. It was a mutual decision where it wasn't Zios just leaving because he didn't like Exit Wounds. It wasn't Exit Wounds just kicking him off. It originated, I think, from Bonfire and the team making a decision as a unit that this isn't working out. And so they parted ways. It wasn't that Zios decided the team wasn't going anywhere. It was just it arisen from that team chemistry aspect, and that's what you're seeing from Carbon is that team chemistry is crucial. You see
Right.
Final Boss now deciding, our team chemistry just isn't there. We need to change things up to try and get something back because Carbon's beaten us hands down
Right.
the past 3 tournaments.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we'll wrap this up, and like I said, this segment is gonna be every month, and we're gonna have about 15 minutes to talk about some of the latest news and some of the latest things going on. And like we talked about today, the Final Boss picking up strong side, and also Exit dropping out Killer End. So we have a lot more stuff going on, and there's gonna be a lot more things to talk about, but this is going to be it for today, and we have some shout-outs that we wanted to give, especially to I wanted to give a shout-out to the team Overrated and the Chicano Click for being the finalists on the 2006 Podtacular Fall season. Nice job there. Both teams have done extremely good throughout the whole season.
Dial, I'm gonna have to piggyback off that. I want to give a direct shout-out to my man, the cookie baker, headshot maker, Mike. Raya, Remis, you know my many names, but if he's got a sniper, you don't have a head. And
Yep.
Secondly, I want to give a fantastic shout out to my man Mace. What's up, Mace?
So
And hold on. And thirdly, what's up, Joseph Lobby 88?
Yeah, and I want to
Johnny, I love you too, Johnny and Dial.
to Intercontinental Hobo. This is my
And
replacement
Intercontinental
beer, getting cracked just for you, right there. That's for you, Hobo.
John,
And
what was
also
that? A
Team
Dos Equis?
Operated.
That sounded like a Dos Equis, John.
It
What
was a
that?
Dos Equis right there. And I want to give a shout out to Intercontinental Hobo. Nobody can ever pronounce your name, but I still love you. Give a shout out to Team Overrated, going for the fall season championship.
Champions.
And I want to say that Dial's voice is very sexy over Xbox Live.
It really is. You guys don't know what kind of treat you're ready for next time we get a segment.
Hey, just love, man. Just love. It's all about love.
Overrated.
Alright, so until next time, guys, we are the new MLG segment, Gain the Lead from Podtacular, and I'm Dialpex.
And I'm the main host, JonnysAn, along with the minor host.
I've got more
Joel.
fans. Romaine Lettuce. Holla at me.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Later.
Later, guys.
All right, well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And
Thank you, guys.
we look forward to having more of that in the future, definitely. So, we're going to be doing that once a month now, and talking about what's going on in the MLG news and stuff. So,
Yeah, it's always important to bring that out in the open. Now that it's on TV now. So
yeah, really, man. Yeah.
I also want to speak briefly about an event that happened this week. The Gamertag Radio's second annual Xbox Live Community Awards show.
Yeah.
Back probably about a month ago, me and Fumo Jive had announced that we were going up against one another for Community Member of the Year.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that neither one of us won, but
You should have. You were robbed.
but it to me, just being nominated, because I remember listening to the show last year.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, it'll be interesting to actually be a nominee. So I was a nominee, and that's more than enough for me. I mean, that's just letting me know that I did achieve certain things within a year. So
We didn't.
and Podtacular didn't win Podcast of the Year. We did.
Dude, I didn't even know we were nominated for Podcast of the Year again, man. And much less like last year, we went. You had this whole campaign and everything on the website. We were like, guys, vote for us and everything. If you like the show and stuff, and we went crazy with it, and we totally didn't even do that this year. We did one post like vote for JVB, and that was it. Last year we were like had it at the top of the list for a month, I think, or a week or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like we're like vote for us, vote, So and we won, but but it's cool. There's honestly, I think there's some other people that deserve the spotlight right now, because we've had plenty of spotlight going on. So.
Yeah. And make sure you guys go see. Don't go see it, but by the time this show comes out, the episode would be probably a week old already. But go listen to it. It's at www.gamertagradio.com. And once again, Godfrey and the rest of the Gamertag Radio staff, they did a great job. They got Major Nelson. They have Peter Moore. They even have Frankie from Bungie, who hopefully will be on our show soon.
Anytime,
Frankie? They got a bunch of guys in there, and of course, Fumo Jive and JVB. Even though we forgot to announce ourselves in our little segment.
Yeah. We're just talking.
Yeah, we're like, okay, bye.
Yeah, they were like, we didn't even say our name.
Yeah, man. But, they know our voices.
Yeah. We know it. So, anyway.
So let's get started.
That's MLG. So, so on to Rainbow Six Vegas, which we're talking about. This is the first time we're going to be covering this kind of segment right now. We're talking about King of the Hill. And what this means is it's talking about contenders for the top of the hill for the top game this month. So it could be like the top game for the month. It could be games that deserve to be in the list. It could be games that are up and coming, things like that. So basically games that are really good. So, and we're going to try to focus on one game a month in this this segment. And since we are the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, we realize that. Of course, some of you guys are like, dude, you're talking about another game. What the heck? But we all know that Halo 2 has been around a while, and people are playing other games. So we figured, we'll talk about other games that Halo fans are playing, and we'll relate it to Halo, definitely, because we're going to talk about it in comparison to how Halo 2 runs, and how the whole thing compares to that. So we got some.
Because let's face it, man. Every game that comes out now, it's compared to Halo.
True.
Whether it's justified or not. So,
yeah.
Hey, if you're gonna go up against the best, you might as well be talked about.
Definitely.
By the best.
That's great.
All right,
I like
so
that, right, Fumo?
We had a few people that sent in some comments about the game.
Very few.
Very few. Why don't we just kind of talk about some of the features of this game here, and talk about how kind of it works and how it compares to Halo. LOA, can you tell us a little bit about the kind of? Can you give us kind of an overview of the game and how it works on live and
for the most part, I can make a direct comparison to if anyone, and I'm sure a lot of gamers have played the game Counter-Strike. It's very similar. If you can imagine a very updated and more complex Counter-Strike in HD.
I love
that.
HD.
Will give you an idea of what Rainbow Six Vegas is like. It's very team oriented. Although a lot of people can get away with the running and gunning type of gameplay.
Yeah.
If you run into a team who knows what they're doing and is acting like a SWAT team, you're not going to go far.
Exactly.
I do like the way that they kind of broke everything down where you're not immediately given access to all of the quote-unquote power weapons. You do have to play the game for a considerable amount of time to unlock access to certain weapons, and they have five, maybe six different categories of weapons from handguns to machine guns to submachine guns.
Yeah, sniper rifles.
Yeah, exactly. And
Light
they
machine
break down they break down other equipment too, like different types of body armor. Some are more effective at protecting you from fire, but make your movements a little more sluggish. So there's this whole balance issue between what kind of gear you're going to get into, what kind of gear you're going to choose for what particular type of fight, and I really like the way it's done. I think I said in the past that I have not been a really big fan of Tom Clancy games, but this one really sold me. The first few Rainbow Six games I tried, I really wasn't happy with. I think the PlayStation community actually adopted those games a little bit more, kind of like they did with SOCOM. But for the first time, I could say that this is a Tom Clancy game that I'm 100% happy with. There are a few minor bugs and glitches that people are exploiting right now, but almost immediately, I think it was only 1 or 2 weeks into the game's launch, immediately they announced that they were releasing a patch that would take care of all these known issues. And I was like, wow, that's really quick.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Some games you understand. I think even Halo 2 when it first came out, there were a few glitches that people were finding out there, but it took a little bit of time for Bungie to get that patch out there to cover those issues.
Yeah.
So I'm all for seeing any game developer coming right out and saying, we're going to take care of this. This patch is coming. Matter of fact, I think that patch is due out next week. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's coming soon.
Well, do you think that maybe knowing Ubisoft's history with bringing out buggy games, do you think that maybe they already knew that there were there was these bugs in there, and that maybe they figured, all right, let's look like champions and say, oh, don't worry, we're gonna.
I'm convinced, and this is kind of like you brought up an excellent point. It's why I kind of gave Ubisoft the nickname Newbisoft.
Yeah.
Because they, to me, they're notorious for doing this, and I really don't understand it because I know that, I know there's deadlines to meet. I know these developers are often sometimes rushed to hurry up and get a title out in time for a good marketing position where they know they can sell as many units as they can. But on the other hand, we're seeing it publicly now with Halo 3 with the beta test. I'm assuming that the reason they're doing this is so people can try it out and find certain issues that they can fix prior to the actual release of the game.
Heck yeah, man.
Why other companies aren't doing that, kind of beyond me.
Well, I don't know if you ever played Rainbow Six Lockdown for the Xbox.
That was one of the titles that I tried that I was completely unhappy with, and I was like, well, this is either going to collect dust or I'm going to get my money back.
That was the worst game to actually try to start.
Why?
Getting into the Rainbow series because that game was horrendous. The lag. Yeah. There was spawn camping. It was unbearable. At times how the other team tried to get into your spawn purposely. There's mistake.
They did take care of that spawn camping thing. That was one thing I actually looked for right away. They've created a system where your spawn area actually gives you a
Yeah, give you some hiding spots.
you're like invulnerable. You have a 6 second invulnerability time frame, so that if someone does start camping your spawn, you have 6 seconds to kind of do something about it. And they can't kill you, but you can kill them, which is great. So for that first 6 seconds, if you see an enemy that's trying to spawn camp, quickly chuck a grenade at him, pop him a couple times in the head. He can shoot you all he wants. Then first 6 seconds, you're invulnerable.
Yeah, no, believe me, I've already been I've been there where they've tried spawn camping,
Yeah.
and of course the 6 second invulnerability certainly helped.
Yeah, I mean, and believe me, I'm no proponent of Rainbow Six games or Tom Clancy games or Ubisoft games, but I can say that if you've been upset with the gameplay in old Rainbow Six games, much like I was, this will be a very refreshing new game for you to try out.
Well,
I love it. I can't get enough of it.
One thing I will disagree with you is when you said that PS2 community welcomed the Rainbow series more than the Xbox community, because at the time when the first Rainbow Six came out, that was the Halo 2 of its time. That game was like played constantly, and I believe to this day there's still people playing it.
Really?
And then yeah, I mean, it was huge. I mean, I used to stay up till 4 a.m. playing that because it was a slower paced game, but like this one, there's a lot of teamwork. There's you can either go in trying to be Mr. Macho Man Rambo and eliminating the whole team by yourself, or you could be like a tactical uber team that knows every position of the map. And
Yeah, at that time, I kind of gave that up, and I was off to Ghost Recon at the time.
yeah, but no, the first Rainbow Six it's a true classic, at least to me. And then Black Arrow came out, and it kept some of the gameplay elements. I mean, with the first Rainbow, there was the lean glitch. They eventually fixed that. They came out with a bunch of maps that were, that they're legendary as far as the Rainbow Six community is concerned. They're legendary maps. They even brought one out for Vegas, and it's called Kill House.
Yeah.
And yeah, that map's so sweet, man. But yeah, but they with Black Arrow, they put in a few game types. It didn't feel the same. Like, they kind of messed with the aiming system. And then Lockdown, oh my God, everybody just had high hopes for that. And they had the custom building your character and everything. So they kind of implemented all three of the previous games into Vegas, and now it's working. Because the first Rainbow, you didn't have any customization, and neither in Black Arrow.
I was gonna say, let's talk about the persistent. What is it? Persistent elite creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
PEC.
Yeah.
2.0. So it's like a customization system of being able to customize your character, right?
Yes, and that came from Lockdown, where your highest level was a 40, and after everybody reached level 40, they kind of lost interest in the game. That was the only reason to play that game, because there was so much lag and everything. But they brought it here, and then they brought a great feature with
Can you explain how that works with like the different levels, and when you reach a certain level, you can get different different equipment and things like that, and what kind of equipment you can customize, and character traits you can customize and things like that?
Yeah, like let's say you pick a basic submachine gun. I can't get all technical because I don't know the names by heart, but like one of the more legendary weapons is a G36C or the FAMAS. Now you can, on the fly, like in the menu, you can go into something called outfitting during gameplay, and you can like put a silencer, or you could update the scope, or you can do add a laser to your pistol.
Yep.
And while you're customizing your player for online play, you can like Revelation said before, you can choose which type of armor you want to wear, and certain armor is going to either increase your speed, well, not increase, but it's going to give you more mobility than if you pick like the heavy duty armor. So that kind of plays well into what type of game type you're going to play. Because let's say if we're playing capture the well, it's not called capture the flag. It's
Was it Intel or something
what's
like
it
that?
called? It's capture and conquer or something.
Capture and defend? No.
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like that. Something.
It's like
defend.
capture the flag, but it's with a briefcase.
Attack
Right.
and defend. That's what
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can like have a few guys with light armor. Those, they'll concentrate on trying to get the suitcase, and you can have guys with, you can even have a shield if you want. So you can kind of have different setups depending on which type of maps. So it gives it a lot of different types of strategy, and also the part that I love is if you have the Xbox Live Vision camera, you can scan your face in there. So
That is scary.
LOA,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit about that, about how that works and how well it works? Go ahead. Have you used that?
Well, actually, when I first heard
I
about
have
it, when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be some really lame and cheap kind of overlaid bump mapping thing. Because I've
Right.
seen this done before in games, and it's just turned out like
Yeah.
ugh, it doesn't look good at
Horrendous.
all. But when I first tried it with mine, I actually started. I was almost freaked out. I'm calling my buddies in the room. I'm like, "Look at this, man!" And my buddy did it on his, and I'm like, "Wow, these really look like us."
Yeah.
So I
it's
mean,
amazing.
it's really the first time that you can, and it's not some bump mapping overlay. I'm not
it's-
exactly sure how they pulled it off, but I mean, it's so detailed that it actually picked up the earrings in my ear.
Wow.
So my guy has earring, but I mean, it is just, it's almost too bizarre because it's just so spot on. It is you to a T.
Yeah, and how you do it is that you adjust the lighting, and then it'll tell you put your face inside the red box. You take a front view picture. It'll ask you if you like it. You hit yes. Then it'll tell you to look to your left, and you do that, and that'll be your side view. And then it takes about maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes to generate your picture.
Yeah, the process is a little bit long, but
Yeah, but the first time I did it, I had good lighting in the room, and my son was like, "Oh my God, Daddy, what are you doing in the game?" So, but the second time I did it, I don't know what went wrong, man, but my nose was stretched upwards, and my lips were huge, man. I looked like I don't know, dude. My wife was like, "Yeah, I was
It's like a chocobo, man. Nice.
I look like a flaming tater tart or something, but I was like, man.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
So I mean, I guess there's a way to do it that you gotta hold, because I was holding the camera by hand when that happened, and there was another time like half of my nostril was missing. So, and there's people that actually, yeah, right. Who needs them? There's actually people that take pictures of celebrities and they put them on, and I've seen some on the internet. They come out a little fuzzy, but it's funny to see. One dude had Michael Jackson. Another guy had
I tried
O.J.
to be
Simpson.
Pinhead.
Oh, from Hellraiser.
Yeah, I did. I have one of those 6-inch figurines of Pinhead. I
Oh,
tried to do
Oh, I gotta try that. We have
It
an
just came out.
eternity to
It came
know
out
your
looking like a really
flesh.
pale guy with a bunch of blackheads. I couldn't get the nails to stand out. I was quite
Execute
upset.
them.
Nasty.
Need some execute them.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm gonna do
So
that.
pain will be legendary.
Hey, so I gotta know, how does the matchmaking type features work in comparison to Halo 3 and Halo 2? Halo 3.
Well,
It's not out yet.
All right.
you know what? I have yet to see a game that can adopt that kind of matchmaking system. 'Cause, I mean,
Right.
I almost wish that what Bungie puts into their matchmaking system was kind of like the
Standard.
Unreal, yeah, kind of like the Unreal Engine, so everyone could just use it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so random. I mean, sometimes you get matched up with good people, other times you don't. A lot of the games I'm going into anyway are just custom games that I don't even really think there's any real. I'm not
Matchmaking.
even positive. Yeah, if there's any real ranking system in that game or not. I mean, you have your personal rank and your personal stats, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't know if there's such a thing as a ranked game.
what really ticks me off about it is that just like Gears of War, once the match is over, you're kicked out of the lobby. And I mean, once again, Xbox, what happened to clan support? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's up? You don't want clans anymore or something? I mean, the first Rainbow, there wasn't a party system, but at least there was websites dedicated to forming certain, like TeamCompete.com. They had, back in the day, they had a system where you sign your team up and there's brackets and everything, so you can have custom games, and,
Right.
and that's how people are doing it now. They're forced to go back to the old way. There's supposed to be a next generation title. What's up with the clan support, man?
Exactly.
Throw me a
telling you,
bone
man.
here. Come on.
It's like people try to improve on the system of Halo 2 rather, and it's just that Halo did everything so right when it comes to that. People improve, like Gears of War, of course, improved on the gameplay, I think, in my opinion. But they really didn't even come close to improving on the matchmaking and custom game system and the party system and
Yes.
things like that. That's where Halo 2 still shines and still outdoes anybody on the 360. So
Exactly, and I mean there is still time for them to improve with updates and downloadable content. Thing that scares me is, are they going to charge us
Yeah.
because they wanted to rush the game, or are they going to throw these features in for free like they should,
yeah,
and just charge us for new maps and stuff like that? Which is understandable, but don't charge us for something that you didn't put in because you wanted to rush it out.
Exactly.
If you do that, forget about it.
I think
There's gonna be
these
some cement shoes
developers
coming your way.
these developers also need to be aware that, I mean, they got to keep in mind that, man, when Halo 3 drops, that's going to be
Oh yeah,
that's
you
going
can
to be
forget.
the death stroke to any
Yeah.
other game that comes
Forget
out.
about your game, man.
Yeah. No one's. I mean, I love Gears of War, I love Rainbow Six, but I'm telling you right now, when Halo 3 comes out,
Yeah, that's it. Forget it.
Forget everything. You know where you'll find me? Halo 3, baby.
Yep.
I'll spend the first few days going through the campaign, and then the rest of my life playing multiplayer.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
dude.
So,
I'm gonna have to build TVs in the elevators from now on, just so I can take my Xbox with me.
hey,
but I mean,
hey,
I
quick
think if they would put some time and consideration into what they're putting out there for multiplayer, I mean, at
Yeah.
least the game may have some
Mhm.
some
Longevity.
extra,
Yeah,
That's the thing, longevity. That's where games these days on the 360.
they're lacking.
There's so many shooter games, and pretty much most games I think for the 360 are shooters. So when it comes to that, I mean they're really lacking in longevity, and that's what Halo 2 had, and that's what they built in, and that's what they thought in detail about how can we make this game last to where it's really gonna catch on with the community, and it's gonna stay caught on to where people are going to continue to play it. And I think that's where, games these days are continually not delivering. They're really not they're really not coming
And I
aboard when
agree.
it comes to that.
But with Halo, with Bungie, they did, they made a few smart moves, and they hired people like, Frankie and KP, guys that are actual fans of the game, and know what people want in a game, in multiplayer especially. So that helps. Like with Forza 2, they hired Che from OneUp.com, formerly of OneUp, and he's doing the same thing. Giving them what, the inside of what gamers want, getting feedback and all that stuff. So I mean, taking that little extra time to know what your fans want definitely pays off. So I mean, Cliffy B for Gears of War 2, if you need some help, man, just give me a call, brother.
reach out.
I'll do it. I'll help you guys out.
Reach out
Well,
and
I
touch
think
someone.
Fu was actually onto something right there when he said that. He kind of said, if certain things aren't broken, maybe you shouldn't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people like Frankie and KP are invaluable resources to Bungie, simply because they're community-driven people. I mean, just like you said, they know what the people want, and they're out there in the community still participating to this day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's
They're still
the
bringing
difference
out
between
new game types and all that.
yeah, it's the difference between having an office pencil pusher, you
Yeah.
know, trying to come up with an idea of what
Yeah.
gamers want.
Exactly.
I mean, who knows more what gamers want than gamers?
Hey,
Exactly.
I gotta say a good counter example is with Zune. You know, like how they had the brown version of Zune. They actually did a focus group that a limited focus group that said, you know, what kind of color would you want? And enough people picked brown to where they said, oh, well, okay, we're gonna offer a brown version. You know, and people on the web were like, what the frick do you want a brown version for, man?
I
That's
know.
like crap version.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, you know, I might actually consider a brown version because I'm kind of more of an artist because I do web design and things like that. But you know, when it comes to, I think most people, dude, brown is like considered with on the level of poop. It's like, come
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
dude. I don't want a poop MP3 player. You know,
I
it's
have
the
a
same thing.
diarrhea. Yeah, I have diarrhea brown MP3 player.
It's like, you know, you got people that do focus groups and you got people that are in touch with the community. And I think Bungie
Yeah.
is really good at that, with staying in touch with the community and trying to deliver what the community wants. And you know, I really think they're focused on that. While you know, a lot of other games not necessarily. They're so bogged down in all the logistics on the whole thing that they're really, you know, not into the whole thing. So, you know, I definitely am on the level of kudos to Bungie on that. So.
I mean, and don't you kind of think too that that's almost like a no-brainer? I mean, when they're
You would
reaching out
think.
to their
Yeah.
community, I mean, these are, let's just not call them community yet, but I mean, this is your customer base.
I mean,
you know,
frickin'
these are the
A,
people
man.
that are going to be buying your product. I mean, don't you want their input? What would make them buy it? What would make them be a first-day buyer again?
And
Okay,
not
well,
only
well,
that,
here's, you know, I hate to be kind of cliche about this, but Microsoft is really kind of, you know, embracing the community as far as like, there is a community built around their games, especially in the sense that they've enabled that with Xbox Live and with Xbox.com and with all the features that they've enabled. They've really let us come together and like kind of make a voice for ourselves. And I think,
Exactly.
you know,
They've
when other
embraced it.
communities, when other, well, companies, I should say, should really, you know, when they really embrace that to the extent that Microsoft has, we'll really start to see some games that are willing to listen to what we want and, you know, deliver on that premise.
I mean, with Rainbow, the original Rainbow, like I said, it was. I mean, well, no, I'm not gonna say it was. It's a classic. It's an Xbox Live classic because, like I said, that was the Halo 2 of its time. That was the game everybody was playing. That's where I met like a bunch of people from PMS when they first started. I mean, that's where I met the majority of like my friends that I still have for 4 years, and there's a fan base for the Rainbow Six series, and for Ubisoft not to acknowledge that and just keep. I mean, after lockdown, they should have said, all right. I mean, they have the frag dolls, but they're not part of. You know, they're more like a team that's sponsored by them.
Paid.
And I'm sure they do give some insight onto what they should do, but they should have a dedicated person or persons that is going to go out there and say, hey guys, you know, what should we improve on? What's new that you want to see? I mean, spend a few extra bucks and just get the damn thing, you know, right. But
Yeah, man. I mean, people
you know,
will be willing to do this for free. Influential people that, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get back to Rainbow Six Vegas. Let's talk about this a little more.
yeah,
We got off on this tangent there. Okay, so we talked about face scanning. We talked about the kind of the matchmaking system as far as that goes. Let's talk about the custom games as far as the customization of how, you know, the different games go. How can you? Is it on the level of Halo 2, or how can you customize those?
well, there's not much customization. I mean, you can set explosives on or off. Where
What does
you
that
know,
mean? Grenades or what?
Yeah, grenades. Back in the day, they used to be the grenade launchers. Everybody shut those off. Then there was the 50 caliber sniper rifle. You shoot somebody in the toe and they die. So there was the ability to turn that off.
my
I'm sure now they yeah, I mean it was amazing. But now you have the just as far as I'm concerned, because I haven't really been online all that much with it the way I used to be, because I've been moving and everything. But you have the ability to shut grenades off, because they do get a little cheesy. And I mean that works in both ways, because if you have a dude that likes to camp, he's gonna turn them off. Or if you have a bunch of guys that all they do is just keep throwing grenades, then it kind of takes away from the strategy. But I mean it's part of the game, so you have the ability to do that. As far as choosing which weapons to play, I don't think you can do that. I mean, you can change the maps. You can't change the maps on the fly. It kind of goes into a loading screen. So you kind of, for a few minutes, you kind of separate yourself from the rest of the room, where you can't talk or anything. Whereas, Halo 2 is on the fly, and you can set the time. You can set what different game types, like this sharpshooter, and this team sharpshooter, which is equivalent to Slayer and Rumble Pit. And then there's team survival or survival, where it's you have one life. So the more popular game used to be team survival, which was real intense. You have one life, so there was a lot more planning as far as how you would approach the game. Then there's retrieval, I believe, where there's the satellite. I mean, I could be getting Rainbow Six Black Arrow confused.
That's attack and defend. What you're talking about.
Okay. Okay. Because retrieval used to be a satellite where you had to download the information, and there was a time, so you had to defend the guy who was retrieving this information. I mean that was a good game type.
What they did, they kind of combined a lot of those things into attack and defend. On certain maps, that attack and defend objective is to retrieve the briefcase. On certain maps, you have to download the data or hack into the computer, as they call it.
Oh, nice.
So it's one game type, but the actual goal varies on the map.
Oh, sweet. See, I mean, I was like one of the ultimate Rainbow Six heads. I mean, I used to, not to toot my own horn, but I got to the point where I was so good, I would just use a pistol. And people swore I used to cheat because I used to get 3 kills in survival. And, I mean, with a pistol, and he's using an M60, and I'm just headshotting. So,
Man.
I mean, but, no, I mean, there's the cover system, which adds a different element to the gameplay. It's to me, it's better than a little better than Gears of War, because you have more ways to shoot while you're in cover.
Why don't you tell us about that, how the cover system works in comparison to Gears of War? Because obviously we can't compare it to Halo 2.
Yeah, get Revelation.
The cover system in Gears of War, as we all know, you hit the button and you kind of zoom towards and attach to a wall or a barrier.
Hit the A
and
button.
I hate playing the two, one after the other.
Oh, when you switch?
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember that day Fumo, me and you were playing, and I'm
man.
dude, I keep hitting the shoulder button.
I'm going through that myself.
Oh,
I jump over to Gears of War and I'm hitting the left trigger, and I'm like, why am I not sticking to the wall? It's all about the button layout. I mean, in Rainbow Six Vegas, in order to use the cover system, you just hit the left trigger when you're close to a wall or a barrier, and that left trigger is used for absolutely nothing else but that. Okay. So it's what I like about it too is a lot of in Gears of War, even if you're behind a barrier, it's very hard to actually hide. I mean, most of the time, the people can see the gun sticking up behind your back, and they can see your breathing motion behind it, and they can, oh, look at him, he's hiding right there. However, in Rainbow Six, this system is actually it's a great element of surprise. I've used it plenty of times, just sticking down a hallway and just peering down that hallway, waiting for someone to get really close, and then at the last second, you could do two things. You can blind fire them, which of course really isn't accurate, but you can get some kills out of it. Or you just kind of you move half your torso around, and you got full aim, and you can actually zoom all the way in to take out your opponent. So it's the button. The button layout on the controllers is actually a lot better than Gears of War, and The actual, there's the dogs. They said hello, everybody.
Yeah, they're like,
But the actual element of surprise that you can use with this system far exceeds what you can do in Gears of War.
and also I like the where you can kind of peek around the corner while still leaning.
Yeah.
If you keep holding the left thumbstick forward, so you can kind of peek a little bit while still remaining in a covered system.
Yeah.
I mean, covered position. So that's pretty good. But the one complaint I have about the cover system, and somebody had posted this somewhere in one of the forums, they made a good point that it's a little unfair because you're in a third-person view, and you're hiding behind a wall. Technically, you shouldn't see unless you move your head, but you can kind of see the guy coming from a certain distance.
Yeah.
So that kind of like gives you the disadvantage, and I agree on that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if it
but
was
some people,
person,
but some people, they are starting to learn to counter that with heat vision. So, yeah, they'll just
Never
use
thought
heat.
about that.
There you go.
Thank you, JVB.
Yeah, I never thought about it either, and a friend of mine was like, use heat vision. I was like, oh yeah. So so there's a way to counter everything, man. Wrong with that.
Well, real quick, you guys, give it a rating on a 1 to 10 scale. What would you rate this game?
All right, I'll go
LOA?
first.
Yeah.
I'd say single player. I haven't gotten too far into it. Graphics use the Unreal 3 engine, so the graphics are the best. Obviously, it's a high definition game. They are the best in the series. They're better than Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. I say single player. As far as right now, I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
Multiplayer, it has the potential to be a 9 if they fix some of the glitches. But once you get into an intense battle, and you have proper teamwork going, and everybody on the same page, and you're like having a great game. I mean, there's nothing like it except for Halo 2. But I mean, there's two different games. But once one's realistic, one's not. And once you find the right type of people to play with, I mean, you'll enjoy it to no end.
Yeah, I agree. I'd have to say, single player wise, I like the storyline. I think it's engaging. But I'm more of a person that wants to play with their friends than computer generated characters. I'll agree with you there. I'd give that a 7. But right now the multiplayer, it's so hard because I'm only basing this on what I'm anticipating Halo 3 is going to bring. I'm gonna give it an 8. I agree it does have the potential to be a 9, but like I said, I'm just setting the bar way high because I know it's almost like Bungie can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm just anticipating really great things, so I'd have to give the multiplayer an 8.
And realize there is co-op, and there is terrorist hunt, where 4 people can get into a game and go up against a fixed amount of terrorists. And if you put it on realistic, oh my God, it's tough. And then you got the usual multiplayer shoot 'em up type games. So there is there's some options. I mean, if you just want to pick it up, play with a buddy in some co-op or something. And of course, you have the achievements for each game type. So I mean, it does have some variation, and people are saying that it could be the multiplayer game of the year, but I'm just happy that there's competition out there and that there's not one, home run hitter out there that's taking all the awards.
Yeah.
Or all the accolades. So I mean, you look at Gears of War, it took Halo 2 out of the top spot, for 1 week or whatever. So this has potential. They just got to do it right. Don't jerk us around with the downloadable content.
Yeah.
And come up with patches in time. And we might have ourselves a nice little game here.
Yeah, the replay value on the game will definitely be higher as long as they address the issues and do what they really need to do.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, let's wrap it up. Next week we have a very special guest host. You won't want to
Very
miss it,
special.
definitely. It's the end of our first round of new shows. It's the new customs and call-ins, where we're going to cover a few changes on the normal customs and call-ins, system that we got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And send in your send in your comments, etc. It's podtacular.com. We depend on your submissions to keep the show going. As you can see, we depend on your submissions to keep everything fresh and keep things going and making things new. You know what I mean? So, you have an open invitation to send in your stuff for next week's show.
For sure.
And while I'm at it, I'll say, don't forget to call our listener voicemail at 206-888-HALO and leave a Halo-related message. We play these back regularly on the Customs and Call-In show.
That's
regularly.
Right. Yeah. And be sure to check us out at podtacular.com. And while you're there, check out the forums. There's lots of buzz about Halo 3, Halo 2 Vista, and new Halo 2 maps and other stuff.
Thanks to all the people that contribute to Podtacular, whether it's working in the forums or on the community. Or subscribing to the show and reviewing us in iTunes. We couldn't do it without you guys. And there's a lot of guys out there. So big ups to you guys out there. You are not unjustified.
Okay, well, until next time, guys, I'm Fumo Jive.
I'm JVB.
I'm LOA Revalation.
And thanks for being on, dude. It's a pleasure always having you on, man.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hey, maybe in about half an hour we could play some Xbox 360.
Oh, Sean.
Rainbow Six Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Drop it, Joe.
Slap it, Joe. Slap it, Joe.
Good call. Good call.
Drop it, Joe. Yeah. Thank you.
Where'd that come from, man? Okay.
All right, guys.
Later,
Keep
guys.
on fragging nubs.
For real. And trucks.
And donuts.
Keep on fragging cockadoodle noobs.
That just killed me. That's going to stay with me for like weeks.
I'm going up the elevator and I'm like, cockadoodle noob!
That's going to be my new whine cry every time I die. You cockadoodle noob.
You cockadoodle noob. What did you just call me? Cockadoodle noob, that's right.
Sucks to be you.
And what?
That's the new thing. All the cool kids are saying it.
Oh, man.
That's the in thing, yo.
Later, guys.
I even wrote it on my hard hat, bro. I even wrote cockadoodle noob just to don't forget that I